Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. The United States government is negotiating with a number of countries around the world to increase the exchange of tax and financial information of both businesses and individuals. And joining us to talk about these protocol agreements is a partner with the CPA firm Holthouse, Carlin and Van Trite, Blake Christian. Good to have you with us, sir.
Good to see you, Tracy.
What is changing? I know for about a week there, the Wall Street Journal was continuing, it seems like almost every single day there was an article. They were mostly talking about the Swiss accounts, but they were talking about the other accounts too. Why now?
Well, this has actually been a process that started in about 1996 when some changes were made to the Swiss-U.S. tax treaty. And essentially the U.S. forced an insertion in there that to the extent that there was evidence of some tax fraud or other fraudulent activities, that the Swiss government would be responsible for turning over some details about those accounts. And so that's really the culmination, and it finally, with some court battles, has finally resulted in the disclosure of about 4,300 accounts.
How difficult is this in a world? I mean, we live in this global world today where money is moving all the time between different companies, between businesses, and between individuals. How easy or uneasy is it to actually track the flow of money today?
Right. It is. Well, and that's a lot of why the U.S. government's turning up the heat. Is, you know, we're obviously a huge money center. Obviously, the 9/11 activities and some of the foreign foundations that were used to funnel money in for terrorist activities, and we're seeing that kind of around the world. That forced disclosure, plus a long history of some tax fraud going on with, you know, both U.S. companies and others, of having these accounts scattered throughout the country, and kind of a little bit of a shell game.
Switzerland is the country that has been receiving the most wide attention, basically, and unfortunately UBS is the financial institution.
Right.
How do you determine, though, let's say the United States has certain tax laws and would say, look, this is the kind of reporting that we want, and yet you take the Swiss government, they're a sovereign country, and they say, look, these are our tax laws. If you have countries that have very different tax policies and tax laws, who trumps, who wins, and how do you determine right from wrong?
Right. Well, if you don't have a tax treaty between those two, then it can be a constant battle, and you know, you can have both countries attempting to tax the same transaction, and ultimately it can get pretty messy. But that's why they do enter into these protocols and then ultimately these tax treaties, so that you can, you know, people can make informed decisions about what the tax consequences are going to be on the front end. And so that's, you know, there is a positive of having these tax treaties.
So are the Swiss or the Swiss banks and the Swiss government, are they receiving too much attention right now, or are we just hearing mostly about it because it's the most recent one?
Well, I mean, they're the highest profile, you know, confidential oriented banking system. And this, you know, this ruling and this disclosure of these accounts will, you know, I won't say it's going to completely crush their banking system, but it's going to really reduce their effectiveness, and they're going to see a real drain on their money.
How is this affecting our relationship with other countries around the world? And Switzerland is obviously, it's a fairly neutral country in so many different ways, and has been a friend to the United States.
Right. Well, this, you know, people are very, very unnerved by this, particularly the 43 account holders, 4,300 account holders. But we're gonna see some retribution, I'm afraid, and so. Time will tell, but it's going to be a tough time for the next few months.
So I guess it's pay attention to your tax situation. All right. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
For Charter Local Edition, I'm Tracy Young. Now back to CNN Headline News.